What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another episode of Dragon Ball Q&A, where today we have lots of awesome questions to go through. So before we begin, guys, I do want to say that the questions added onto the video are going to be directly reflected onto you guys. So if you guys have your own opinions as to the questions asked in this video, go on ahead and drop your comments down below if your opinions differ than mine. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, for all the latest Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. And lastly, if you guys enjoyed the video, then be sure to go on ahead and leave a like down below. And if you guys have any questions to ask me for the next Dragon Ball Q&A video, drop your questions down in the comment section below. So without wasting any time, let's begin with our very first question of the day, which is from Tyler the Train. Hey there, Alex, I hope you're having a chill day. I wanted to say thank you for opening up your Discord with us to interact with you on. Thank you. I just got on it yesterday, but I have some questions I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, and I would like this to also be for your fans as well, and I hope they answer this too, because I'm stumped on a few things. So here goes. Question 1. Do you think that Jiren is able to go toe-to-toe against Hit and outpace Hit's time skip? If by logic Hit can time skip anything in due time while in battle, and Jiren is rumored to be stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, do you think Hit can become stronger than Jiren if Jiren toys with him? Question 2. Goku's Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form is the new Super Saiyan 1 form by default in Dragon Ball Super, right? So since it's overly used, is it possible that Goku's next form is going to be either A, a Super Saiyan Blue adaptation, or B, something entirely different in terms of design, Super Saiyan hair with base black shading? Question 3. I was watching your Discord community video and noticed that people are forgetting about the Universe 9 brothers and what they can do. So my question is, if the K9 brothers battled against the androids, what would be the outcome? Question 4. What do you think Gohan's pros and cons are going to be in the tournament once he taps back into his ultimate form? Thank you so much, Alex. You're the man for all you do, and don't ever stop being a major part of this community. Well, thank you so much, Tyler. I mean, your warm comments mean a lot to me. So let's talk about your first question, Jiren and Hit. I think for a lot of us do want to see Hit collide against Jiren, just because if Jiren is rumored to be stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, I feel as if it's only fitting to see what someone like Hit is able to do against him, since we already know that Hit was able to time skip Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku during the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 battle. However, you're saying if by logic Hit can time skip anything in due time, can he outpace Jiren if Jiren toys around with him? I do think so. If by some chance we have Goku and Jiren being the strongest people in this tournament, I think that if they overlook Hit, then at some point Hit's definitely going to make a comeback and possibly even throw both of them out, because if Hit can continuously improve and be able to, increase his time skip, that's going to be a problem, because even when Goku battled against Hit the first time, it was shown clear as day that Goku did have the upper hand against him until Hit was able to improve even further after that, in which he was able to keep up with Goku until Goku had to use Kaioken times 10, and again, even during that moment, Goku had the upper hand until Hit was able to even time skip that. So in terms of Jiren, I do think that even though right now we don't know anything about him and a lot of fans are thinking that he's very overrated, I think that for the time being, if Jiren fought Hit in the beginning, I think that Jiren will win. But I think that if they overlook Hit and if Jiren and Goku focus more on each other and completely forget about him, I think that at some point Hit's definitely going to jump in and he's going to give them both a very difficult time. Now, you're saying that what if Jiren toys with Hit? I don't really see, Jiren being the type of character to toy around with someone. I do think that Hit and Jiren are very similar in terms of their characteristics, because so far from what we know of Jiren, he seems to be a very serious, laid-back kind of fighter, and what we know about Hit is that he's an assassin. So an assassin doesn't take his job lightly, in that his character is very serious. So I think that both of these characters are going to be very serious fighters, and I think that when it comes down to it, both of them would go all out. So I think that if Jiren were to fight Hit, I think that Jiren would definitely go all out instead of having to toy with him. Then again, you're bound to see some shocking surprises occur during this tournament. So for me, I think that if Jiren were to toy around with Hit, I think Hit will make that comeback and increase his time skip ever so much so, because remember back during that episode when he fought Goku again, Hit is able to carry out his own pockets of time. So that's a problem, but I think that only if Jiren were to toy around with Hit and take him lightly, I think that Hit can make that comeback. Now, to answer your second question, is it possible that Goku can either A, have a Super Saiyan Blue 2 form, or something entirely different in terms of having a base black shading with Super Saiyan hair? Now, based on the episode intro, they were hiding that form from us. They're obviously keeping it as a surprise and they don't want to reveal anything, but if I had to make a guess, I'm going to gonna have to say that it will be Super Saiyan like hair, the traditional SSJ1 hair, and judging based on the aura, I do think that instead of the hair being black or blue, I think it might be red, and it'll be kind of interesting to see that because the only time we ever saw red hair was Super Saiyan God, and we haven't seen that in quite some time. But I do agree in saying that Super Saiyan Blue has now become the default form of Dragon Ball Super, because that's the only form that Goku and Vegeta ever use. So in terms of that respect, I do agree that yes, Super Saiyan Blue is the new default form for Super, which ultimately means that at some point we're about to see Goku and even possibly Vegeta achieve something even different than that, something higher. But I just feel as if for the fans' sake, they should have kept it to where they had different levels of Super Saiyan Blue. As you said, Super Saiyan Blue 2, Super Saiyan Blue 3, very similar to Dragon Ball Z, how Super Saiyans had different levels to their Super Saiyan stage. Hence Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, even counting GT, Super Saiyan 4. So I think that that would have been more fitting to see Goku tap into a higher level of Super Saiyan Blue, an ascended level beyond Super Saiyan Blue into Super Saiyan Stage 2. So that would have been cool to see, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I do think that the Super Saiyan Blue 2, Super Saiyan Blue 3 stuff is only going to be solely based within the community itself, like in terms of mods and fan art. So whatever this form is, whatever this technique is, it's bound to be something entirely different than Super Saiyan Blue 2 or Super Saiyan Blue 3, hence why I do believe that whatever this form is, it's bound to be something entirely different. Now, to answer your third question, the Universe 9 Brotherly Trio, I think that these dudes are bound to get their payback on Goku, or at least for the time being, target Universe 7 for what they did. So I can definitely see Universe 9 targeting Universe 7 first, but in terms of Lavender and Basil and Bergamo having to go up against the androids, I think that it'll be a really cool fight to see. Even though it'll be a little unfair to see 2 versus 3, I do think that the androids can hold their own against 3 other people, even though the Brotherly Trio do have like their own strategies and techniques behind them that can help them out during battle, like for example Lavender's poison and Bergamo's ability to take your attacks and use that against you. Having to see those qualities go up against the androids, who we know are a destructive force when they work together, would be very interesting. But then again, having a look at the K9 brothers fighting the androids, we can also see the K9 brothers fight Tien, Roshi, and Krillin, because those are 3 humans put together. So having 3v3, or even having to go up against Universe 6 and seeing, you know, Botamo and Magetta and possibly one other person alongside with them, even Kaba perhaps, you can always do that. So I think that the Brotherly Trio are going to be very sneaky fighters, and I think that at some point, you know, they may use poison. Even though it hasn't been specified if poison is allowed, it's still a part of Lavender's body, so I can only assume that, yeah, poison will be allowed, and if Lavender gets a hold of you, or even if Bergamo begins to hold someone down while Lavender poisons them, I can see that happening. But in terms of the androids versus the K9 brothers, I'm gonna have to say that the androids are definitely gonna have the advantage, because I think that in terms of working as a cohesive unit, they may work better together. But I also do think that the K9 brothers do have a better strategy in possibly having to poison people and having to use their power against them. So even if 17 or 18 are going up against Bergamo, Bergamo can just absorb their attacks, grow bigger in size, and then attack them. But then again, it's hard to put your finger on the K9 brothers and say that they're going to be a really good unit, because we don't know how well they work together. However, we do know of the androids, so for me, I'm going to have to put the androids above the K9 brothers. Now, to answer your final question, Gohan's pros and cons. Well, the pros about this is the fact that he's going to be tapping into his ultimate power, and he's going to be stronger than ever before. And the reason for that is because Piccolo had agreed with Goku to train Gohan throughout the entire 37 hours up until the very day of the tournament, and I do think that because of this training, because of this intense training, Gohan is going to be able to tap back into that power. So I think that one of the pros for Gohan is going to be environment awareness. I think that Gohan is going to be aware of his environment, of his fighters, of all the opponents around him. So I think that that's going to play key. And also his power is going to be beyond the measuring standard of what many other fighters are going to possess. But then again, it was proven that if Gohan loses his vision to see, I think that it's going to be a problem, because if you can't see something and all you can feel around you is 80 fighters battling around you, like, who do you really target? I mean, it's going to be hard to concentrate, because let's say, for example, if Gohan does lose his vision, he's going to have to solely pay attention on that one person who's targeting him among a cluster of fighters battling around him. So he's going to have to detect that one person amongst this massive battle royale. So that's going to be a little difficult. I can definitely see Gohan lasting very long, but it'll be a huge shock if Gohan gets eliminated first, but then again, I think that based on everything we've seen with Gohan, having to admit that he's been inexperienced, having to admit that he's been, slacking in his training, having to see everything he's gone through, having to fight and defend for his daughter, I think that Gohan is going to last very, very, very long. Dare I say maybe even towards the semifinals. At some given point, it'll be a huge shock if Gohan ends up winning the tournament for everybody. However, I can't see Gohan going past Hit, and I can't see Gohan going past Jiren. I think those two are going to be roadblocks in front of Gohan. And then again, there are going to be possibly other fighters out there just as strong. So as of right now, it's going to be hard to say, but I do think that some of Gohan's pros are going to be awareness of his environment and his power, and alongside possibly even working alongside Piccolo and others. So he's definitely going to be a team player going into this, aside from Goku and Vegeta, who I believe are going to be solo individuals. So anyways, Mr. Tyler, thank you so much for the questions, and I hope you have a fantastic day, my friend. And now moving on to the next question, which is from Jibran. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Hey Alex, I have a question as well. Is there a chance of fusion in the tournament? The reason for this is because during the previous episode, Whis told Goku and Beerus to not use the senzu beans as it is not a technique. However, the fusion dance is a technique in my opinion. So is there a possibility of Gogeta being in the tournament? Have a great day, Alex. Well, thank you so much for the question. Now, to answer your question, I did make a video with my friend Emish talking about fusion, and as you guys can see on your screen, this is the video. In case you guys are curious about fusion, I made an entire breakdown as to why we believe fusion will not happen in this tournament. And to put that in the perspective of what you just said, I don't think that Goku and or Vegeta are going to agree in having to combine their powers again to just simply fight off a bunch of people within a certain time period, and B, I don't think that it's the right setting for another fusion to happen. Would I personally like to see Gogeta and Vegeta a part of this tournament? Yeah, of course I would, but you have to consider how strong Gogeta would be if he was in this tournament. Take one Super Saiyan Blue, take another Super Saiyan Blue, combine their powers, include Kaioken, include all of their techniques and abilities, and replicate that, add that onto the fusion, and there you have an OP'd character. So I think that if Gogeta was a part of this, yeah, it'll be really cool to see Gogeta versus Hit, Gogeta versus Jiren, Gogeta versus Toppo, but in its entirety, I think that Gogeta stomps out everybody. So even if they had a point in time where they said, okay, well, we have a timer, we can easily stay fused for 30 minutes to an hour, so maybe this can work, I still think that having to look at Vegeta's pride and having to look at everything Goku has gone through, there is no reason for Goku to ask Vegeta for fusion, especially if Goku himself called for this tournament, because Goku himself is the person that wanted to fight all these other universal fighters. It wasn't Vegeta. Goku is the one that called for this tournament because he wants to test his own powers. He doesn't want to test the powers of fusion, he wants to test his own abilities and strengths against some of the strongest in the entire multiverse. So that's why it makes sense. Now, to include fusion, you're gonna have to take the story and concept of Goku calling for the tournament and wanting to test his powers and grow and completely retcon that just to include fusion. I would like to see fusion happen after, but then again, I think that fusion is only necessary if there is a very, 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 very powerful opponent in which Goku and Vegeta are unable to defeat on their own. Hence why they had Zamasu, because Zamasu couldn't die. To have Gogeta a part of this, I think that Gogeta, in my opinion, would solo this entire tournament. He would go in there and he would, Smash Mouth style beat everybody. So it'll be kind of boring to see, because who in their right mind can actually go toe-to-toe against such a fusion? Now granted, we may see other fusions happening, but even if we do see other Metamories fusions happening during this tournament, one thing is for sure, in that Goku and Vegeta are not going to be fusing. So even if someone else fuses, I don't see Goku or Vegeta fusing, especially if Goku is said to have this new unknown power that he's going to tap into during this battle. So in order for them to do that, why are you going to overshadow your new transformation by introducing another new fusion? And keep in mind, within the realm of Dragon Ball Z, or within the realm of Akira Toriyama's canon, franchise, Gogeta is quote-unquote non-canon, so it'll be cool to see him appear in Dragon Ball Super, but I think that someone like Gogeta needs to be put aside for an enemy who is equally to or stronger than Goku and Vegeta can ever be. So that's just my opinion. I mean, like I said before, anything could happen, but I just feel as if fusion is not needed as of right now. So anyways, my friend, thank you so much for the question, and I hope you have a fantastic day, bro. And now moving on to the next question, which is from Donald Trump. Would you look at that? The president is asking me questions. Question 1, do you think Gohan is getting a new form in this arc? Question 2, which god of destruction do you believe is the strongest? Question 3, since you did a video about Super Saiyan 8, how strong do you think Super Saiyan 8 is compared to Dragon Ball Super characters? Thank you, Alex, for working hard, and I'm sure your subs appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Donald Trump. Now, to answer your first question right off the bat, no, Gohan is not going to get a new form. People are saying this because they want him to get a new form, maybe. I just don't think it's needed for Gohan to have a new form, especially if he's going to tap back into his ultimate form and become stronger than he ever was before. I think that's best suited for him. So I think that instead of pulling an ass pull like they did with Trunks and giving him Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan Rage or Super Saiyan Rose or Super Saiyan White or something like that, I think that they ought to stay with how he looks now and just overall increase his ultimate powers to be stronger than he ever was before, which I think makes sense. So for all the Gohan fans out there who do believe that he will get a new form, let me know as to why, because some people are solely convinced that he will have a new form, and for those of you who believe that, let me know down below as to why, because that I'm very curious on. Now, to answer your second question, which god of destruction is the strongest, that's kind of hard to say. I would like to believe it's one of the 4 that were excluded, because they seem to have, you know, knowledge and intelligence, and they do have, you know, a sense of morality behind them in having to govern their universes correctly, and maybe that gives them strength. But for me, I would like to think it's Belmont, aka Vermount. I mean, just because he's one of my favorites there because of his design and stuff. But I would have to say maybe the Universe 12 God of Destruction, Jin, either him or it might be the Fox dude, or if not the Fox, it might be the little Karibo looking dude named Ivan. So, I mean, we're not going to get a definitive answer, maybe not for this entire arc at all, but personally for me, I would love to get a definitive answer just to see which one is the strongest. Now, to answer your third question, how strong is Super Saiyan 8? I mean, I would never know, because Super Saiyan 8 is a fan-made, you know, concept transformation, whatever, for, you know, sketches and for mods, in particular mods, because we've seen Super Saiyan 8 mods done before. How strong is Super Saiyan 8? I don't know. I mean, to me, if I had to weigh in my 2 cents compared to some of the Dragon Ball Super characters, if you want to look at, you know, the depth and magnitude as to how strong Super Saiyan 4 was and Super Saiyan 5 and Dragon Ball AF, and having that carry that over into Super Saiyan 8, I would have to say Super Saiyan 8 would be way above Super Saiyan Blue, and maybe even possibly some of the gods and angels, even close to the Daishinkan, if not stronger than him. So I don't know, it's hard to say because it's a fan-made form. So, but anyways, my friend, thank you so much for the questions, and I hope you have a fantastic day, bro. And now moving on to the next question, which is from Vanishing Flash. Hey Alex, I've been watching your videos for years now, and you are definitely my favorite Dragon Ball YouTuber out there. Thank you so much, bro. Keep up the good work. Now on to my one and only question. Imagine how drastically different the Goku Black arc would have been if Zamasu realized how flawed his judgment of mortals were. Like, what if the whole story of this arc, instead of him and Goku Black working together in destroying all mortals, revolved around Zamasu trying to come to grasp at just how corrupted he would have became had he continued to believe what mortals were the way he did in Dragon Ball Super? My question to you, Alex, what is your overall thoughts on this concept? Do you think it would have given Zamasu a much deeper backstory and character development if the arc went in a direction like this one? Anyways, that's all I had for now. I hope this makes it onto your Q&A video, and I wish you the best of luck in the future, bro. Well, thank you so much. Now, what's weird about this is, oddly enough, during the summer, I thought about this and I said, well, what if, you know, the present Zamasu realized that the future Zamasu was wrong? And I thought to myself, imagine having that concept in present Zamasu realizing that he was wrong about everything he did and having to team up with Goku and Vegeta to stop himself in the future. Like, that would have been so intense to see, because here you would have had Goku Black and future Zamasu, and then on the other hand you would have had Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and present Zamasu, and the future Zamasu and present Zamasu would have had a conflict in, you know, having to agree and disagree on ideas. Future Zamasu would have been like, look how weak you are, you failed to realize how evil mortals are. And then present Zamasu could have been like, no, my, you know, judgment and flaws on mortals were just corrupted from the first place. I had a very bad idea as to how they were, but they're not as bad as how you believe they are, in which would have created conflict between present Zamasu and future Zamasu. But I think that overall they still needed to stick with that idea, because even if you had present Zamasu versus future Zamasu, keep in mind future Zamasu is immortal, present Zamasu is not, because right before they killed present Zamasu, that was during the time where he did not use the Dragon Balls. So even if he was involved, I can see him kind of holding off future Zamasu and Goku Black momentarily until he gets killed, but either way, it still wouldn't have made sense because, you know, for the time being, it's like, where do you put present Zamasu? Having him argue with himself in the future would have been great, but I mean, in what direction do you go with in terms of, you know, preserving his story and trying to keep his character development going, you know? I mean, you're gonna have to kill him off eventually, so having, you know, maybe future Zamasu kill off present Zamasu, would that have an effect on his body? I mean, who knows? But either way, I think that for character development, it would have been told from a great standpoint, but I think that it still ultimately wouldn't have made sense that much, because in what direction would you go with this? Like, even if Zamasu, Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks were to win, you know, what happens with the current Zamasu? Does he become a Kaioshin when he goes back? Is he hailed as a hero? I mean, for changing his ways, what happens then? Because there's always that possibility that he could be masking his feelings and he can go back to, you know, what future Zamasu and Goku Black did and becoming evil. So I mean, it's a different narrative, and I think for the most part it would have worked, but then again, you have to ask yourself, it's like, what direction do you go in trying to preserve present Zamasu's character? Because you can't have future Zamasu realize that he was wrong, and you can't have Black change his ways, because what made Black Black was his ideology on humans and the fact that he killed off all the gods and he did all these horrendous things. So I think that would have been, you know, very, very, very interesting to see two Zamasus fight while Goku and Vegeta are fighting, you know, Black and whatnot. But I think entirely it also would have taken away from Trunks, because as you saw in the manga is very different than the anime, because in the manga, Trunks did not achieve Super Saiyan Rage, whereas opposed to the anime, he did. So maybe in the anime that would have taken away from Trunks transforming, who knows? But I think such a narrative would have been cool to see, but I think that it wouldn't have made too much sense. But anyways, my friend, I do want to say thank you so much for the question, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And once again, guys, I do want to say thank you all so much for watching this edition of Dragon Ball Q&A. I truly hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure to go on ahead and leave a like down below if you guys are new to the channel. Don't forget to go on ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys, on your way out. I do want to say the next Dragon Ball Q&A video might be dropping either on Wednesday or Friday. In case you guys wanted to drop sooner, let me know. The more support these videos get, guys, the more I'm actually motivated to do more for you. So if you guys have any questions of your own, if you guys have anything to add on to this, if your opinions differ than mine, and if you want to answer these questions, however it is you want to answer them, then answer them down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day. Peace.